If you've forgotten what rush hour in a big city looks like, the Swedes are here to remind us. These commuters on the Stockholm Underground aren't performing a victory lap, not yet, but they certainly stand out from the nervous European crowd. You'll struggle to see a face mask here. The government has refused to recommend them, and though you're supposed to work from home if you can, many clearly feel that the worst is now past. It feels very odd travelling somewhere where I don't need to wear a face mask. But Sweden has always been the outlier during this pandemic, with the fewest restrictions of anywhere in Europe. And the question remains, will the Swedes in the long run be proved right or wrong? Cafes, restaurants and shops never shut here. Instead, Swedes did what they were told on social distancing and good hygiene. It's not a complete success. Over 5,800 died, far more than their Nordic neighbours, many of them because of a failure to lock down care homes. But crucially, because there was no nationwide lockdown, there was no rush to socialise afterwards, which means that COVID cases, though now rising in the capital, aren't surging the way they are in the UK. Sweden's death rate stands at 57 per 100,000 people, compared with the UK's at 63. But look at the last 2 weeks of COVID cases. Sweden, though smaller, has had remarkably fewer than the UK's second wave. There may be a degree of herd immunity by now, though that's not government policy and it's notoriously difficult to measure. More importantly, Swedes often live alone or geographically far apart. And they still seem to believe Anders Tegnell, if not the best epidemiologist in the world, then probably the best known. This shop has sold over 1,000 Tegnell t-shirts. All power to Tegnell our saviour, reads this one. So why, I asked this unlikely Viking, is Sweden's infection rate lower than the UK's?
The main reason is probably because UK had a very strict lockdown, open up. And then everybody was scared about it, and it also happened that a few weeks, months later you would get a resurgence. Sweden, we kept the same actions in place the whole time, the same recommendations, the same regulations, and people have adhered to them very well.
And the implication of what you're saying is that if the UK had followed Sweden, we would have fewer cases now.
I think that's very difficult to know. Maybe not. And it's very difficult also to calculate because there's also many other differences between the countries, of course.
Well, Number 10 Downing Street has confirmed that you spoke to the Prime Minister by Zoom on Sunday with other experts. What did you tell him?
No, I'm not going to comment any more on that.
But if I were Boris Johnson, what would you tell me about handling the UK?
I would say, like we say to everybody else, you have to look at other countries, see what good things they did, what bad things they did, and try to learn from it.
Emma Berents has been following his guidelines after the bleakest Nordic winter. No wonder. Her mother Kerstin died of COVID just 2 weeks after complaining of a sore throat. She was just 69.
I talked. And she's like, you know what, I have a real hard time to breathe right now, so I will call you later.
Did she call you?
No, because they got her into I don't know what it's called.
A ventilator?
Ventilator, yeah. So they got her into a ventilator, and after that, no more. That was it. That was the last time I talked to her.
You would think, given what you've gone through, that you'd be critical of government policy. Are you?
Why throw dirt on each other? Who's doing the best and who's not? I don't care. I just wanted us to do the best we can.
Swedes are taking a chance on their epidemiologist, and their health minister told me that unlike lockdowns elsewhere, theirs is a policy built to last. Quite brave of you to be, the only country in Europe doing it this way. Either brave or stupid.
Well, of course I hope that we are brave, But we wouldn't do it if we wouldn't really believe that this is working. We will have the virus in our societies, nationally, globally, for many years. And how are we going to live our lives for such a long time and not just surviving but living? And not just surviving but living. I think that has been very crucial for the authority and not least for the Swedish government.